Hi everybody, this is Carol welcoming you again, or for the first time, to Light Spring Glen here on this side of the pond. On May the 24th, 2021, it is a glorious May morning, probably at the middle of the morning, though I haven't seen the time for a little while. And I am so glad to be able to make this second May video out here. I actually thought I hadn't made one in May, but it turned out I had done one for Beltane or Bealtaine, May the 1st. So here we are in this glorious later part of the month. The year is blossoming. You will hear, I hope, some of the birds that are around in the woods with me and further away, maybe in the yard. So I've brought us over here on this side of the pond. I'm very glad that it's a cooler day than the last few we've had that have brought out the black flies. For anybody who's lived in this part of the country, you can understand why making a video with black flies buzzing around would not have been a great deal of fun. So in the hemlock woods where I am, there are two things I want to make note of before I set us down over here at my little place, where there are now seating places on. This is one tall tree that was came down. It was a tree that had part of it is still very much alive, and this was the taller part, and it came down in sometime in the winter and is providing an awfully lovely sitting place. So but along the lines of changing, as is true and sometimes abrupt change, in the middle of that photo, of this view, in the back there, you may see almost like a bushy looking darker part. That is one of the huge hemlocks that fell in a really fierce windy night, windstorm, earlier in the spring. I've written about it on my blog. Falling into the Light is the title of that blog. I'll put a link below. It was quite startling to come out in the woods and find that it had fallen. And another thing that I won't have time to walk us up, but right where you see the light shining on that, right in the middle, I hope, of the view, one of the largest hemlocks, right up there are, oh my goodness, one of the most beautiful spring flowers, lady slippers, and I will take photos and likely post it as the still image, as you see the videos on the channel. Oh my goodness, so I'm hearing a chestnut-sided warbler. If you're bird watchers or bird lovers, you probably know what it sounds like. So here we are, celebrating the new leaves, the green. I am dazzled by the green in the spring. So this shows you that the leaves are mostly out now after a long and cool and damp spring. So I'm going to attempt to walk us back without jiggling you too much and put us down, because you're in this with me, of course. We're all in this together. We are all in this together. How are you? I'm trying to keep my hand from showing up in the view. How are you? I look back through the list of videos, just kind of scan back through what has now been, okay, oh my goodness, I hope I don't shut it off. Oops, there we go. I am only partly successful, and clearly only working with an iPhone makes it. Oh well, anyway, it's homespun. I guess I'll do. I will not need to apologize for it. I enjoy making these videos and have since January of a year ago. Whoops, okay, that was a bit of a trouble. So, welcome, welcome to this May 24th. And I listened to just a little bit of, a video of last May. I was making them at that point every week. We were 3 months into the pandemic, which means, of course, now in May of 2021, we have survived, we have come through 15 months of this. So I'm hoping that this finds you well, each and every one of you, and enjoying your May wherever it is you are. Let's see what birds are calling. I'll just make a note every now and then. I just heard a flicker. I haven't heard one of those before. I'm definitely a bird person, so I can name most of the ones I hear, and of course some that may or may not be visible as we are sitting here together looking into this spring day. But the crow for sure is getting his voice on here. They almost always do. They've kind of been my assistants off and on for a good portion of these videos. And behind me, every once in a while, if you hear kind of to the right, I guess I would say, but behind me, there is a fascinating bird. I believe it's a kind of a thrush called an oven bird. And their call is, I forget what the precise term is, but it's made into a word for us to remember it. It sounds like they are saying, teacher, 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 teacher. So, the oven bird. And it's a great bird to look up. They're quite shy. Don't want to babble on completely all the time. But what I can say to you this day, in terms of its timing of the calendar, other than its beautiful blooming of spring, I believe the title of this video is going to be something close to The Green Magic of May, and it is glorious in the blooming of the year. I think of it as the morning of the year in terms of the growing season. So here we are with the morning of the year, the earth coming alive, the trees full of life again. And in the videos I was making a year ago to keep you company, I guess, and offer you an opportunity to maybe just simply enjoy a little getaway via the videos from Light Spring Glen, and some support for your journey as could be provided by things that I was sharing. And one of them was in our quarantine times to ourselves of, what was the word we used, staying in place. I think I'm not getting it quite right. Sheltering in place. And how it was that we were making our way through those first months of distress, confusion, a certain dose, rightfully so, of fearfulness. And one of them for sure was devoted to, and I think I started this before even the pandemic. In the year to come, since these are videos in honor of the earth and in celebration of Gaia, that I encouraged you to seek out a tree friend for the year, and how helpful that would come to be for those of you who have followed some of that. And what is your tree friend up to now in this spring? Certainly they're very huggable beings. Certainly they are desirous of the communication with people. I know this for myself and for very vivid interactions with the trees around here, and certain trees in particular. How is your tree friend? And for all of those that have the leaves and such that fall to the earth and compost over the winter, and the trees and their long slumber and hibernation, they are now vibrantly alive, and there is in the world now a green fire, is how I love to describe it. The green fire has kindled and is in vibrant display and array, and every last cell of every leaf, of every green plant, tree, grass, growth is full of fire, of photosynthesis, the chlorophylled, amazing energies. Taking in, and here I am talking and breathing out the carbon dioxide that happens in my furnace of fire in my lungs and body, and all of these beautiful green beings taking in the carbon dioxide and creating oxygen. So this wonderful reciprocity of the green world. So when you visit your tree again, something to be grateful for and to thank your tree friend. Make more this year. They are eager for us to be in touch. So it's a time of flourishing, of it, and there is no way to convey to you other than describe it, the sensory pleasures, not just of sight, which are, oh my goodness, render me speechless at times. The greens and the shades of greens, and a line of a poem of a long ago poet, Gerard Manley Hopkins, who wrote about spring, and the line that always stays with me is this line about that weeds in wheels, oh my goodness, I'm blanking on the rest of it, shoot long and lovely and lush. I think the word shoot is the one I was looking for. When weeds and wheels shoot long and lovely and lush. He loved alliteration. So he's speaking of the ferns unfolding. So there is that. But the blossoms of so much. I mean, we've had our run of golden early flowers and the dandelions carpeting the lawns, offering themselves for particular the bees, and to us who know how delicious they are to pick and savor in salads and such. So the golden flowers, and now the daisies have begun their release of their countless billions and millions of wishes. And if you haven't, I hope by now, maybe grabbed one in its seeding stage and puffed and blown away those lovely seeds onto the wind, and that you appreciate the dandelions for their beauty and in so many ways. But as we've gone deeper into the spring and the flourishing of everything, let me tell you, the apple trees are just covered with bloom, almost to the point you can hardly see the branches and the trunks of the apple trees, and the lilacs are at full growth, in full bloom, and honeysuckle, so that there are days or places where I walk, and it's just the air is full of their perfume. It is intoxicating, absolutely intoxicating. The lady slippers, it had been a little warm to go out and kind of poke around at the black flies, had been discouraging, and I finally went out last night to be sure I didn't miss them, and sure enough, the lady slippers are blooming as well. The pond that is right in front of us here, of course, has its own activities of migrating ducks that come through, and I've seen quite a few this year. So this little pond is one of many that dot the woods and the hills here. Some are natural, some are made by farmers of decades back. There are not too many small farms anymore, but these farms would create these ponds, just like this one here. It was always a stream that ran right through here, but when 100 and some years ago the Rosa family first came, and their barn has been featured in some of my videos, and you might be able to see a little bit of it too. Its roof is all you would see from here. But this pond was, the stream would have been dammed up and made this rather shallow pond. You would never drown in it for the cows. So it is the cow pond, and now it presents its beauty simply for any person lucky enough to come and visit and enjoy its, well, it's like a huge mirror, for sure, every day, no matter what time of the day, even at night, to see the stars reflected in it or the moon. I haven't yet mentioned that we're on the full moon's trajectory straight ahead, but I'll get to that and finish up to say that the most frequent visitors here, and I was blessed by a very special one, in every migration season there's a type of a shorebird that is a solitary sandpiper. I may have that wrong. And one will come here and stay for a few days and will poke around the edges. It seems very goes along, wading into the water, finding whatever. They stay for several days, the individuals that stop by and enchant me with their quiet and trusting presence. So I enjoyed seeing it, long-beaked, and it's a little bigger than a robin, long legs allowing it to wade out in the water. It's just wonderful to see it every year. I wish it well in its journey to probably somewhere up in maybe as far, well, into the Adirondacks, north of me here, or even further up into Canada and some of the places up there. So wood ducks visit. They're absolutely fabulous and beautiful. They are so shy. So even if I step out of the house into the carport and they hear the door, or I, stick a toe out the door of the carport, they take off rather. They just don't trust me, and I'm sorry they don't. A pair of mallards has been checking out the pond a long time. I thought maybe they might nest. I try to convince them I'm very trustworthy, but so far no. But they visit almost every day, and I try to say to them, listen, we're fine. We're fine with each other. I'm nothing but trustworthy and a lover of all of nature and you guys. So somehow or other, I get too close, and I can come partway down to the pond, and they swim across to the other side. And I think it's the female. She just isn't trusting me. And there's a little kind of looking at each other, and off they fly. So that's what we've got in terms of the mallards. The full moon. Wednesday, the 26th. Today is the 24th. It is the full moon in Sagittarius, and it is a super full moon, which means that it's a moon, and it's the moon cycle where it's closer to Earth, so it'll look bigger, and it is because it's closer. It is also a total lunar eclipse. So it is, for those aware of lunar energies, it will pack an amazing amount of energy. There is a woman whose information astrologically, in terms of this, is someone I very much find accurate and helpful, informative. And her name is Pam Gregory. I will put the link to her video about this moon in the notes below. So if you wish, of the different people I've listened to and tuned into, she is the one that I find of most help for me, and information and guidance. If you work with the cycles of the natural world in any way, simply for the nourishment and the joy and the peace that it brings, especially in the midst of the times that we're in, this might be something to further explore for yourself, or maybe you do already. And as I say, there's a lot of information out there. It's necessary for all of us who want to learn more and expand what they know to let their intuition bring them to that information and those individuals that resonate with you. And as the guidance has been over the years for me that I have followed wisely so, take what resonates and leave the rest. That is how it is that we grow in our journeys. Birds of, I'm hearing one at a distance here. I'm just pausing a minute to see if I can identify it. The birds in the yard here now, going back to the bird notes, very active in terms of nesting. There are chickadees in the box that's just in the first tree to the left of the house. Wrens have checked out one of the other bird houses. There are robins nesting. I finally saw a catbird. I was beginning to wonder and getting a little worried that I hadn't seen any yet. But no, a catbird has shown up, and they're very lively and characters. And so I'm putting away the bird feeders finally, but I've enjoyed the visits of the spring returnees that are the red-breasted grosbeaks. They're so dramatic. They're just amazing birds. Look them up if you only have just heard the name now. So they've been in the yard too. But it's time to put away the bird feeder and let the birds get on. And Tiger Lily, kitty cat of the house, she just might be too tempted in her hunting instincts if the birds are too close to the house and sometimes on the ground getting seeds. So the bird feeders are going away. In considering what to do for this video, I will say this before I probably need to find, I'm trying to check the time, so I'm peering around and seeing how far I've gotten with this. I want to thank all of you. Oh my goodness, we're into 22 minutes, so I think I will not do the final part that I thought I might do, but I want to come to the place to talk with you a little bit of, oh my goodness, I think we're tilted here too, so my apologies. Let me get us back to the pond as we get back here. I am so aware of what the videos have meant to a number of you over the year, and certainly what they've meant to me in our journey as a world through this pandemic. It is not complete. Here in this country, we have reached a point of, I don't know if I want to say, not relaxing, because that would really be, well, we have ways to deal with it through medical care, through vaccine, which is something that is fine for me and is beneficial to those I love. So that's something that I have taken that step, and we have simply helped one another through this, though we have lost so much. So much. And I've certainly spoken about this in the videos off and on as the years gone by. But coming to this time and a return to life that is not the normal of before, but is a new place for all of us, and how it is we might enter in to this new time and new place and new part of our lives. I would hope that none of us would pick up a pace and have it become so fast as it was before that we no longer take time for ourselves that was given to us in this past year for the reasons that we could take advantage of for reflection, for retreat, for safety, and emerging from that now into a more bustling, hurrying life pace. I hope that we will carry with us the need that we have come to understand of nurturing and caring for ourselves and loving more the world in which we are. The spring of the year always brings opportunities to once more engage with the world we are, as Mary Oliver urges, that we pay attention, that we be astonished, and that we tell about it. That's kind of been my job here for a couple of years, and telling about it has taken the form of these videos. There's a longer poem of hers I had wanted to share with you, but it would put us probably a little bit further into time than would have been. But you know what? I'm going to do this, and I will timestamp it on the video, because the final line is so fabulous. And then I will copy the whole thing and put it in the notes below. I certainly want to take a moment to thank those of you who have viewed these, whether this is the one and only, whether you viewed several. I thank you for liking and sharing it. This beautiful place, Light Spring Glen, is a place that I knew when I came I was to share with people its gifts, its peace, and its healing energies that I will at some point likely tell more about. These videos are going to continue. I know what I was going to say. My birthday is in April, and here it was a year, trying to straighten this out. There we go. I'm going to leave it right there for now. A number of you who I know personally, who are friends, family, and how it is that we have been with each other in various ways at a distance, supporting one another in this year. I hope I don't run out of battery as I finish, by the way. And how it is that we have supported and cared and loved each other in this year. And I'm mindful that tomorrow, May 25th, is the 1 year since the murder of George Floyd, and that in itself is emotion that's rising to me at the moment. How it is that we as a society, as individuals, as communities, as loved ones of one another, have reached out in any way we could, in heart, in word, in prayer. And now the prospect once again of meeting and embracing each other in a safe and wonderful way. What are we to do to continue to share our gifts with the world, to continue to bring forth the vision that we have of a healed and whole world, healing of oneself, of our communities, of nature, the hopefulness that is arising in this spring of 2021. I wish you very well until the next of the videos gets created. I needed to take a few weeks. It was like aftershocks of the year of pandemic. I just really had to be deep within myself. So it took a while to finally get to make this video, and maybe that's why it's a little bit going on the longer side. But thank you again for those of you who have made the journey with me, whether through your comments, through your friendship as it is conveyed to me in the various ways. It continued to be via Zoom and Facebook and emails and phone calls. Thoughts. I receive those thoughts and I send mine back to you. So I'm going to let Mary Oliver take us out in a portion of a poem that seemed absolutely needed in this video, or wanted to be, called Evidence. Evidence. And this is part one of that poem, a portion of part one. And I will timestamp it in case you've already invested enough of your day's time to listen to this. And behind me, the ovenbird is singing. And the butterfly is passing on the other side of the pond as I begin. Mary Oliver's poem, Evidence, part one, a portion of it. Spring. And all through the neighborhood now, there are strong men tending flowers. Beauty without purpose is beauty without virtue. But all beautiful things inherently have this function: to excite viewers toward sublime thought. Glory to the world, that good teacher. Among the swans there is none called the least or the greatest. I believe in kindness, also in mischief, also in singing, especially when singing is not necessarily prescribed. As for the body, it is solid and strong and curious and full of detail. It wants to polish itself. It wants to love another body. It is the only vessel in the world that can hold, in a mix of power and sweetness, words, song, gesture, passion. There's a crow indicating a certain passion right now. Words, song, gesture, passion, ideas, ingenuity, devotion, merriment, vanity, and virtue. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. Thank you, everyone. Until we meet again virtually or in person, take good care. Love, love, love of this green-fired spring world and happy full moon from Light Spring Glen. Bye for now.